Let's talk toys.
What's up, all you universe mastering dudes and dudettes? ToyShiz here, and I got a really awesome fresh look for you today, courtesy of my pals over at Mattel. Mattel was so nice, they sent over their brand new San Diego Comic-Con 2019 exclusive for their Masters of the Universe relaunch, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, probably. This was something that I was never a big Masters of the Universe fan as a kid. I could have had every single toy, every single castle, playset, accessory, a million times over for the amount of garage sales that I went to as a child, but it just never really mashed well with me. Sure, I knew who Skeletor was, He-Man, Cringer, Man-at-Arms, the like, man. I had Mantenna. That thing was awesome. I didn't even know it was a Masters of the Universe toy as a kid. I was playing with it with the Ghostbusters. So I'm like an expert now, obviously. But while I do like Masters of the Universe He-Man, I have actually liked the comic book aspect more. I like the more Conan the Barbarian. I like when he's not the Filmation cartoon thing. And the creativity and the artwork really resonates for me for Masters of the Universe. The vehicles, the weapons, it's weird. Castle Grayskull is amazing, but it's the closest thing to really getting an outlandish, crazy Conan the Barbarians type thing without getting Conan the Barbarian. So that's really why I tend to like it. But for this new SDCC exclusive, this actually harkens back to the original comic book iteration of He-Man. He-Man in the comics, they used to come with these little mini comics that would be in every single one of the original set of figures, and he was a much different character until Filmation came over and was like, let's give him some pink tights and hold the sword above his head and you know the rest. This box is amazing. In fact, all the packaging so far for the Mattel SDCC exclusives have been incredible. We took a look at the Batman 80th, the Many Strange Lives of the Batman set, and that blows everything out of the water that I've seen so far. And that's like the first one. This He-Man one is Castle Grayskull with the whole He-Man harness going on him. I have the power right there on the side. Very cool. On this side, you see the back of the harness. By the power of Grayskull, come back to this. And on the top, Masters of the Universe. It's been heavily hinted at that Mattel might be doing a little something next year with Masters of the Universe. The new movie's coming out soon in year 2, and you know what? I wouldn't put it past him, especially with this type of box set. But we'll know more at Comic-Con. But in the meantime, let's get this thing open. This is the brand new Mattel Masters of the Universe Comic-Con exclusive 2019, The Origins of He-Man. So in opening up that box, we're treated to yet another box, this time with some crisp, awesome artwork that recreates the original mini-comics. You got Castle Grayskull, you got the whole cohorts of He-Man versus Skeletor, and a little bit of Beast-Man, Man-at-Arms. On this side, we have He-Man. Well, actually, you would call him Prince Adam before the whole transformation into He-Man. On this side, this is actually very cool. This is like old school artwork to me. You got Prince Adam, He-Man, tells you everything. These are going to be about a 5.5-inch figure. And on the bottom of the packaging, I want to give a shout out to the creators of everything that we're seeing here. The toy designer is Brandon Sopinski, packaging designer Roy Juarez, packaging engineer Adam O'Connor, copywriter Robert Rudman, comic book writer Tim Seeley, line art Axel Jimenez, colorist Val Staples, background painter Nate Birch, comic book letterer Ed Dukeshire, illustration support Joseph Zakate, and sculpt by Adam DeFelice and Sean Almost. So for this entire set, thank you to everyone involved. This is amazing. I can't wait to see what the figures look like inside. We haven't even gotten to that point yet. On the flip side, you got He-Man and Prince Adam split down the middle by the power sword. And then we're back to the artwork on this side. Not much going on up top. Now on this side, this is pretty cool. You just kind of lift this up. He-Man died on the way back to his home planet. And it's just like a really nice slipcover. So it does kind of change it in the sense of now you got Castle Grayskull minus all the characters. On this side, you got He-Man. And if you noticed that if you had this next to it right here, see, this is why I love this packaging design business. You pull this off and it reveals He-Man, which that's rad. I love that. On this side, probably the best part, you got He-Man riding Battle Cat, Cringer, and a bunch of Skeletor smoke coming off. And I absolutely love that right there. And on this side, you have the sword splitting them down the middle. And now to our one, we got the He-Man comic book Origins SDCC exclusive. This thing rocks. I love the detail on this. This is so cool. You got Skeletor going up against Prince Adam. These are amazing comic book illustrations that recreate all the original mini comic. So it's supposed to be like a graphic novel slash comic book that you're opening up with this box set. These are like on a really nice card stock right here. This is absolutely fantastic. They went all out with this box set. More stuff right there. And then finally, when it finally gets to the end of the comic, you realize you're dealing with He-Man, and I love that Skeletor picture right there. So enough of this amazing packaging design. Let's go ahead and pull the figures out. Just want to let you know, for all the Masters of the Universe fanatics out there, if you are worried about, oh, you don't want to open up this package and can you resell it and all this stuff, well, Mattel has gone above and beyond. So you got this little tab right here, which you just kind of pull just ever so slightly, and this opens up the actual plastic casing to the figure, and then you're free to kind of pull out the figures, and you're also treated to a surprise with some extra hands and a head for this figure. I wonder if the other He-Man's got it. And you can pop them out, put them back in at your leisure, so nothing ruined, nothing broken. Just pull the two trays containing the He-Man figures out, and both come with extra accessories. And then you're honestly left with amazing artwork inside the plastic box. This is just a great setup overall. And finally, here's the He-Men out of their packaging. On the left, you got Prince Adam. On the right, you got He-Man himself. I had no idea this whole time that He-Man was really Prince Adam. My mind is blown. As you can see, that they come with a slew of extra hands, accessories, head portraits. This is the way to do a Masters of the Universe, especially in this day and age. I just think it's funny, had these figures come out in the 80s exactly like this with the extra hands. Could you imagine how many extra hands would be in the accessories bins at flea markets and everything else? It's just a little thought that I had in my head. Haha. Anyways, let's take a look at them each individually because these are super articulated. So in looking at Prince Adam first, you can tell that, yes, these two He-Man Prince Adam figures, they're the exact same body mold, same exact head sculpts, but they're just painted differently. And of course, He-Man's got his harness, and Prince Adam has his cloth shirt, which is actually cloth goods. And up close, you can see that that's a really nice classic style Prince Adam head portrait. Everything is painted beautifully. I just like the simplicity of it. For me, He-Man figures look cool with the whole simplistic nature that they are. It's just a barbarian dude, and he's gonna go mess stuff up, and that is just the best part about it. He does have this really nice cloth of goods. This is actually more of like a light blue. It's showing up on camera as a dark blue, but it's actually lighter than it looks on camera. He's got this gold over his shoulders. This doesn't look to be strapped in, like it's not like glued or anything to him, but I'm not going to take it off because he just looks perfect the way that he is. And this is sort of a rubber band. I like this whole deal right here. It looks like he's got like a jeweled belt. He's not wearing any pants with his shirt. He's kind of going like Looney Tunes style, but this is Prince Adam all over. He's got really nice paint. There really isn't an issue anywhere that I can find on him. It looks great. And the best part about it is these figures are fully articulated now. So you do get head rotation up, looks down, looks to the side. I think that this is a great evolution to He-Man figures. It's got great articulation in the shoulders, nothing at the bicep, which would have been cool to have that, I will say. He does swivel at the elbow, and he's got single jointed elbows. This rotates and goes back and forth, and as you can tell, you got extra hands to switch out, so that's very cool. Now, typically, the old He-Man figures were in a pose basically just like this, right? So now you can actually straighten his legs, straighten his knee, get him all going in a cool looking pose where he's actually standing up straight instead of the constant crouch. And bingo bango, you actually get a taller He-Man figure now, which is all kinds of awesome. He actually comes with the power sword. This is actually just a flat plastic gray sword. There isn't any paint on it, which is a bit of a bummer. I would have liked to have seen that. Also, two halves of a power sword, which really would have been nice. It does look like either they did this or this is part of the mold right here where it looks like two swords came together. So I like the power sword. I think it looks good, but I would have liked to have seen the classic where the two swords are put together if we're going to go like the whole comic book aspect. The other head portrait is the He-Man or the more original Mattel head sculpts, and that looks cool. They're not squishy heads by any means, but as you can see underneath, you got the whole ball joint socket, nice paint every which way. He's got a little bit of a little blemish right there on his nose, but whatever, you can't really see it anyways. Nicely painted teeth. So with the extra hands, he does come with a sword holding hand, which if you just want to put that right in there, he holds it very, very well. That's not going anywhere. He can hold it above his head. He can actually look up, which is very cool. You know, like you could do Power of Grayskull, everything you wanted to do with that. With the extra hands, you just pop these out and just simply plug it back in, and it works really nicely. So if you wanted to, you could go ahead and put the sword in this hand as well. It's a little bit more closed, I will say. This one is more for the sword holding hand, as you can kind of see, but this one you can do it as well. This would be more for maybe the axe, some kind of smaller type weapon, but overall, that's a cool looking Prince Adam figure. So when the people of Eternia are coming across the forces of Skeletor, well, Prince Adam just raises that sword and goes, I have the power. I got the power. No, I have the power. And boom, you got He-Man, baby. And he's looking all kinds of awesome. Now, Prince Adam is one thing, but when you got He-Man, there is no better. As you can see, this He-Man comes stacked with all sorts of accessories, extra hands, head portrait, weapons, and the figure ain't looking too shabby himself. Now, one of the first accessories is, of course, the old-fashioned He-Man shield, recreated beautifully. Loving the orange paint on this. It's just a flat plastic gray, but they have included that typical orange paint. On the back side, he kind of just has a clip now and it slips over the hand, but it's really nice. I'm digging it. I think it's fantastic, especially when you line it up with my old-fashioned shield, which has definitely seen better days, but dang it all, I still love this thing. He also comes with a battle axe like the old He-Man, and this one is a flat gray plastic again, but they did put some silver along the edges, and I like that little attention to detail. It kind of differentiates it a little bit, gives it a little bit more oomph to it to make it look like an actual battle axe. He also comes with a boot knife. This is a yellow handled, painted nicely. It's got a flat plastic gray blade to it, but it fits into his boot beautifully. He also comes with a head portrait, the old-fashioned Mattel He-Man head portrait, and it's painted very, very nicely. The difference mainly being between this one and the Prince Adam one is that he's got a darker yellow to the hair, and this one is a lighter, you know, the skin tone. He also comes with 4 pairs of hands, open, closed, able to handle every weapon that he comes with. But the main attraction is, of course, He-Man himself, and he's looking great. This is like a straight out of the 80s goodness He-Man. They've nailed it. They nailed the likeness, the look. I love the strap on his front, the red. Everything is painted beautifully. On the back side, you can put the little axe or the power sword within. Mine's a little bit warped a little, from the plastic, but you can actually put the sword in perfectly, or the axe, either which way you want to go. This guy is painted really nicely, and he has more paint apps. Being that it's the same sort of style and, buck body as the old Prince Adam, it just has more detail. I wish they would have done a little bit more with Prince Adam in that sense. Maybe give him some white cuffs or maybe some painted straps, because once you go from Prince Adam to He-Man, suddenly he becomes a tanner gentleman, and he also has more paint apps. But the gauntlets are painted differently. It's basically just the boots that have that lack of paint more for Prince Adam, and that's unfortunate. I really wish they would have done a little bit more with that, but overall, it's a nice aesthetic. You can actually pop the heads off, and they come off really, really easily. It's a ball joint, of course, and then you can pop the old-fashioned He-Man head on. It fits on snugly. The articulation in the head makes him go left, right, up, down. He's got rotation in the shoulder blade and at the elbows where it swivels, and he's got single jointed. He's got rotation in his hands, left, right, up, down. He's got waist swivel, kicks out to the left. Gone are the rubber bands. There ain't no more rubber bands with this, but he does have some nice ball joint sockets, single jointed, boot cuff rotation, and he's got some ankle pivot. And it's, again, the exact same type of articulation on the Prince Adam figure. The best part is, though, is when you want to hold the power sword, this head actually has less hair in the back, so you can actually put his head up and look up better. The hair is not a hindrance, and you can get a really nice pose out of him. See what I mean? The back of the head on this. It just looks great. It's something you couldn't really do with the old-fashioned He-Man, but then you could take the knife and go ahead and put that right into his boot cuff. I love me some weapon storage. Go ahead and flip him over. You can put the axe right into his belt loop in the very back, and then grab his shield, slip it over his arm, just kind of get it into the right position. This will clasp over around the gauntlet, the orange part of the gauntlet. Just be careful you don't want to jack up any paint or anything like that. Slips over the open hand. And bingo bango, he looks mighty, he looks powerful, he looks like he stepped right out of the 80s comic book. You've got He-Man, he's stacked with weapons. He's got an axe, he's got the power sword, the shield, the boot, little knife thingy. He's got his chest, armor. This is killer. I absolutely love this. Mattel, home run. I love the added articulation. I love that you're meant to pair it with your old-fashioned Masters of the Universe figures and toys and playsets. Home run. This is insanely cool. What year is it? And just to show some scale, here's some other He-Manly men with the Marvel Legends Hercules figure and the most recent Shazam DC Multiverse figure. And he typically stands around the 5.5-inch mark, so that's a nice scale, I think, for most figures. So that's going to be a wrap for my fresh look for you guys today at the brand new Mattel Masters of the Universe He-Man Origins box set for this year's San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Again, thank you so much to Mattel for sending this over to me to give you guys a fresh look. I absolutely love this. For someone being not a huge Masters of the Universe fan, for someone going to PowerCon last year and being like, why did I miss out on all this fun? I'm not a big fan of the Filmation He-Man. I love the comic book He-Man himself. I think that's a better incarnation. It's weird. He-Man is weird, but I like certain aspects. I love the Conan the Barbarian aspects. I love the play sets, the figures, the toys. This, like, the creativity involved, and you could definitely see this. So whatever Mattel is cooking up for He-Man coming soon, maybe we'll find out at SDCC. I'm sure we will see something. I'm just very interested. I'm curious to know. And next year will be a great year for He-Man. Comic-Con's coming up. I can't believe it's already July, much less Comic-Con itself. My coverage for Comic-Con will last from Wednesday through Sunday, so stay tuned because I'm going to have all the latest and greatest. We're going to go everywhere that is humanly possible at Comic-Con, so I hope you guys will tune in. I'll have plenty of videos, plenty of photos on my Instagram and YouTube, and wherever you like to get my ToyShiz news from. I will be doing some giveaways at Comic-Con if you can kind of find me, so stay tuned for more details about that. I got some cool stuff to give away. So I'm curious to know what you guys think, from the huge He-Man fans to the more casual fans like myself. What do you guys think about these figures? Are you excited for more He-Man? I want to know. Comment below. Let's talk some toys. I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember, with Comic-Con coming up, make sure to drink some water, eat your vegetables so you can grow up big and strong, just like He-Man, and tune into my coverage of Comic-Con itself. And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.